Today we're going to be working on representing and estimating our answer so that we can ensure that we are making a reasonable answer for our word problem. So a magazine subscription costs a total of $12.50 per year. How much will it cost to receive the magazine for 3 years? So I'm going to go back and reread and circle the important information. A magazine subscription costs a total of $12.50 per year. How much will it cost to receive the magazine for 3 years? Well, as I can see that this says $12.50 per year and it's asking me for 3 years. So all I need to do is represent each year. So I have the first year for $12.50. Then I have my second year for $12.50. And then I have my third year for $12.50. And I'm trying to find altogether what it cost for these 3 years. So I'm going to use the variable C for the total cost of all 3 years. So I've represented using a strip diagram, and now I'm also going to represent using an equation. I know the magazine costs $12.50 per year, and I need to multiply that in order to find all 3 years, which is going to equal C. Now that I've represented the problem, I'm going to make an estimation. So I have $12.50 that I want to estimate, and I'm going to go ahead and round it a little higher. So I'm going to round it to $13. And I'm going to leave the 3 as a 3 so that I make sure that my answer and my estimation are in close proximity. Because I know the more I round up or the more I round down, that my answer is going to be a little further away from that. So I want to get as close as possible, so I'm only changing the $12.50 to $13. So right now my estimation is $39 for all 3 years. So $39 estimation for all 3 years. Next, I'm going to start solving, and I'm going to use my equation and think about what strategy I want to use to solve. So now it's time to solve. I'm going to use the box method and think about breaking down each individual place value. I could leave the 12 as a 12, but I'm going to go ahead and I want to break it down for the tens place, the ones place, and then the tenths place. If you would like to leave it as a 12, that would be fine as well. And then I know I'm going to multiply that by 3. So in this box I need to multiply 3 times 10. In this box I multiply 2 times 3, or 3 times 2, and then in this box I multiply 3 times the 50 cents. 3 times 10, 10, 20, 30. 3 times 2, 3, 6. And then I'm going to think about 50 cents. I know 50 cents plus 50 cents equals $1, and that is times 2. And then if I add another 50 cents, that will be $1.50. So I use my mathematical thinking of 50 cents to find my answer of $1.50. Now, since I have my numbers, I will now add them together, making sure I line up my place value. I put my decimal in the correct place because I know the decimal would go behind the 30 and behind the 6 in order to make it $6 and to make it $30. I am adding now so that I can add them all up. So I got a total of $37.50. I'm also going to solve another way so that I can check my answer. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my equation and solve standard algorithm. Write down my equation and solve using standard algorithm. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15. Write down my 5, carry my 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And 3 times 1 is 3. Since I am multiplying by a decimal, I know that I need to count the amount of decimal spaces, the amount of decimal place values, in order to put my decimal number in the right space. So I have 2 decimal numbers. Therefore, my answer is going to go 2 decimal places over. And I have $37.50, which is what I also got when I did the box method. The last step for me to do is to justify my answer and explain how I know that my answer is reasonable. My answer of $37.50 is reasonable because I solved in 2 different ways and got the product of $37.50 both times. I also estimated a little higher by rounding $12.50 to $13, which made my answer slightly lower than $39. Now that I have represented, estimated, solved, and justified my answer and checked for reasonableness, I have completed the problem and am sure about my answer.